Hello, everyone. Woo! We are in module 2 of Retrain Your Brain, and we are diving into circumstances being neutral today. And what I mean by neutral is they are just that. That's the best way I could really frame that, right? We give so much meaning to so many of our circumstances, but they are just neutral. So I want to make this really clear by just diving right in, okay? So let's just use the example of being a leader, okay? A leader, we create, a leader is a noun. Being a leader is a noun. We give a leader so much meaning, okay? We create a lot of default thoughts about what it means to be a leader. They should do this. They shouldn't do that. If they're not this way, they're a bad leader, right? All of these default thoughts that just show up about being a leader, because we look at so many leaders like Martin Luther King and all these wonderful leaders who inspired and attracted people. So we have this thought about how a leader should be, who they should be, how they should show up, how they should react to situations. And if they don't do that, they're bad. Okay? Essentially, we create some bad thoughts about the leader if they're not showing up this way, right? And when we create all of these thoughts about being a leader or about the leader in our circumstance, when you say should and shouldn't, there's shame and judgment in that feeling place, right? So these thoughts about this is how they should show up, shouldn't show up. Okay, now you're creating all these thoughts that are just default. And now you're sitting in the shame judgment place. When you're in that shame judgment feeling place, right? Thoughts drive our feelings. That feeling of shame and judgment is coming out in your behavior, your actions, right? Maybe you're giving this person the cold shoulder because they're a bad leader. Or maybe you're like, well, they're not a good leader, so why do I have to meet my deadlines? So maybe you're not, meeting expectations, right? Or you're procrastinating, or you're avoiding, or you're rolling your eyes in their meetings, right? All of those behaviors, what results do you get from eye rolling and from not meeting those expectations or giving someone the cold shoulder, right? You're not building connection. You're not adding value. You're not showing up as that true self. And in fact, you're just sitting in the ick, right? The results that you're going to get from giving someone the cold shoulder or not meeting your own expectations or avoiding is lack or like zero results. So just for another example, let me just rip this off. Money. We're going to dig into money, so I'm not going to use that as an example. But let's just say, I'm just going to say my husband, right? We create a lot of should thoughts about so many things in so many of our relationships, right? We create so many should thoughts about how life should look and what things should be happening in our experience and all these things. But let's just use husband as an example. Again, noun, neutral. We get to choose what we believe about our husband. We get to choose the thoughts and the beliefs that we believe about this circumstance, which is neutral about our husband. But our brain, if we're not watching it and we're not clearing out the default crappy thoughts and we're not dumping it all out about what we believe, we are going to end up in that same cyclical pattern, even with that previous example. My husband, he should be doing this. Why didn't he take out the dishwasher, right? Or why didn't he empty the dishwasher? He really should know to do this, right? We create all of these thoughts about how my husbands should do the yard work. Husbands should do this. Husbands should know to bring me flowers. Like, you're my husband. All of these thoughts that we create about being a husband that make us feel disempowered. They make us feel frustrated, right? So if we're feeling frustrated, angry, disappointed, how are you behaving, right? If this is the feeling place that you're sitting in, we don't want to sit there. We don't like to feel this. So what do we do in order to not feel this? We engage in crappy behaviors. I don't want to feel this because I'm angry at you, even though the only reason why I'm angry at you is because I created these thoughts about the circumstance, about you, as the husband, as your role as the husband, right? Which is, again, it's neutral. It's just a noun, okay? So why didn't he empty the dishwasher? Now you're frustrated, you're angry, you're disappointed. That disappointment place, we don't want to feel that. So in order to not feel that, what do? Well, we engage in passive aggressive behavior. We engage in avoidant behavior. We engage in shaming behavior, right? The silent treatment, again, which is just a manipulative tactic. We engage in all of these behaviors that get us crappy results. We're more disconnected from our husband, right? We're meant to be connected. We're meant to feel good. We're meant to feel alive. We're meant to get a result, a positive result, if we shift the way we think. Okay? So again, our circumstances are so neutral. We get to assign whatever thought we choose to. We get to assign a thought to that circumstance. Why would you choose the crappy thought if you can choose the better thought? And this is where we have to be aware of our brain. We have to question, we have to challenge ourselves. Ooh, why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling the pit in my stomach? Why am I feeling the tightness in my chest? Why is my blood boiling? Oh, it's because I'm saying he should have done this. Okay, maybe you know what? I would really like my husband to start unloading the dishwasher. So I think I'm going to talk to him about that tonight. That's a better thought about specifically the dishwasher. So I'm just using that as an example as far as husband, but just that husband being neutral. If we get to choose the thought that we believe about husband, romantic partner, this obviously ties into relationships, this specific example. My husband, he's 100% lovable. Husband gets to be 100% lovable. That's a thought, that's a belief that I'm choosing. I'm choosing he gets to be 100% lovable. If I believe this, if I anchor myself here, if I choose this thought in terms of this neutral circumstance, right? Circumstances are people, places, and things. We can't control people. We can't control the past. We can't control the future. We can't control what's happening. Life is just happening to us and around us. It's not happening at us. Life is always going to be good and bad. So the circumstance of my husband, I can't control him. I can't control this circumstance, right? So we want to give all of this meaning to it because we can't control it, and our fear-based mind wants to control, so then we default. If you are not being aware of your mind, you're going to keep defaulting and you're going to keep getting the same result, and it's that self-fulfilling prophecy again, right? So my husband being 100% lovable, how do I feel? I feel excited. Let's just shift to even leader, right? A leader inspires and attracts, right? A leader is a human being. That's it. When you make this person a human being, when you make a leader a human being, you remain in that neutral place. This is obviously a more positive thought, but it gets to be neutral too. Like, I get to stay in line with the neutral thought that's going to serve me and empower me to step into better action. The husband, which is neutral, it's a noun. Now I'm choosing the thought and belief that he's 100% lovable. Now I'm excited. Now I feel like in like just passionate. I feel it's lit up, right? I feel loved. I feel loving. How am I going to behave if I feel excited and lit up and loving and loved. I'm going to give to my partner. I'm going to be present with them. I'm going to listen to them. I'm going to get engaged with them. I'm going to proactively plan a nice evening out or something, right? These are all of the positive action places that we get to step into when we shift our thoughts, and then we get better results, right? If I'm planning a night, or if I'm really present with you, right? What do I get back from that place? I get the excitement, the lit up. And I confirm that, gosh, my husband's really lovable because we had this great night and I'm so present and he loves it and we're so engaged together, right? This is what gets to be possible when we are so aware of the way we think. It's so, so beautiful. So there are so many thoughts that are so important. And not only that, but so many circumstances that are neutral. Again, 50-50, they're just happening. There are so many circumstances that show up day to day, but there are so many circumstances that kind of consistently are showing up in our experience that we are probably creating some default thoughts about. So I really need you to dive into some of the circumstances that are showing up in your life and get curious about them because they are so neutral. And I've given this example to many of my clients. My daughter came home with the circumstance being a piece of paper that said she needed some support with reading. I created all the default fear-based thoughts because I was not watching the way I was thinking until I realized, ooh, I'm feeling frustrated, I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm spiraling, my heart's racing, I'm feeling anxious. Okay, crazy lady, I see you. You're trying to protect me. You're trying to create all the thoughts that make me feel safe or, try to make me feel safe, even though I'm in the uncertainty spiral place, right? The anxious place, the frustrated place. Okay, if I'm feeling frustrated, that's not mine. What am I thinking? I was creating all of these thoughts about that circumstance that were not true. She's going to be a failure, blah, 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 blah. No. All that circumstance means is that it's a piece of paper that says she needs some support with reading. She just needs some support. That's all it gets to me. Great. So many breakfast with my kids, right? Oh my gosh. If they don't eat breakfast, one of my clients was saying this, if they don't eat breakfast, they're going to be so off the wall. Well, yes, you probably believe that because that's what you've seen in your previous experience with your children when they're hungry, right? But instead of spiraling to all those places, you get to proactively decide, okay, breakfast gets to be an enjoyable experience because I'm going to show up for it, right? Even if that's just the thought, you feel better. You've just given yourself that empowerment, that beautiful place where you're showing up from like a leader role model place instead of that ick, graspy, controlling place that truly turns other people off. And then they just meet you here in the same ego space, that fear-based mind, like, stop controlling me. No, I want to control you. No, my thoughts are creating these controlling behaviors, so I'm right. And crazy. So I want you to think about your circumstances. I want you to think about the thoughts and beliefs that you are attributing to those circumstances that are neutral. So dive in, y'all. I will see you in the next module, and we are just going to keep retraining the brain. See you next time.